This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
The clouds are now starting to come close to each other. You can see that it might be overcasting anytime soon here by the western side of the Kruger National Park at Juma Game Reserve. My name is Sydney Fumunani Mikosi, and I am traveling with Craig, who is my camera operator this afternoon. We are going to try by all means and get you see a lot of interesting animals. And in case if you need our attention, you can easily follow us on Twitter, hashtag SafariLive. You can also follow us on YouTube chat stream. So my trekking is beginning now, and when the sun is very hot like this, it makes it very difficult for me to estimate the age of treks, but I will try. I'm looking for Hosanna specifically this afternoon, but you know, nature is unpredictable. We can go out now looking for Hosanna specifically and come across someone else. So I saw Hosanna's tracks this morning and they were very much fresh. So anytime soon, Mara will be joining us. They are still busy having just a little bit of a technical problem, and apologies for that inconveniences. So you can hear the wind is blowing too much by this direction where I'm heading to now, which is towards the Treehouse Dam. Treehouse Dam is dry at the moment, but predators, they don't want to go away from it. They go and wait there still just to see if animals are going to come and pass by. So animals, they've got quite a lot of trust on Treehouse Dam. Howard, we are hoping for the same thing. We are hoping for the rain to come at any time here by the western side of the Greater Kruger. I've just seen some tracks here. I just want to be sure what animal was here, and also to check, maybe to try and check the size. Yeah, I can see that there is a leopard here. These tracks, they don't look old. I can see here, this tracks looks very, very, very fresh, and he went somewhere deep in here. So at least now I have got a clue. I just want to try and see if maybe we can see it from the camera. I can see here. I'm gonna get off now and show you, and I'm happy because tracks I'm seeing are on top of the vehicle tracks for this morning. So the possibilities of finding a leopard, they are very much high. Look at that. So you can see he was going that way. This is the track. So this track looks very, very much fresh. So you will see that if I disturb this track, what is going to happen? You can see that the amount of wind blowing is not yet blown this track, which means this track is fresh. Now I just blown some air on it, but look at what is happening. God disappeared. So it means chances for us to see a leopard in the area are very high. Although sightings is not guaranteed because these animals can hide, but I will try my best and see if we can find him. Right there where I pointed out the tracks is the area where this leopard went into the bushes. So I'm just going to go down a Treehouse Dam and see if we cannot find anything there. Then I'm gonna search in this gully. We might be lucky here. That means Niconico, it's not easy to find leopards. So the thing is, if you find tracks, then at least it can gives you a clue that you're gonna be looking at this area. It just gives you the possibilities, not the probabilities. So, but when we are driving around in the afternoon, it's not only one vehicle, so other people can also check the other different areas. So leopards are not that very easy to find, but if you have seen it in the morning, it's when they are easy to find in the afternoon. But if we didn't see it in the morning, then it becomes difficult. So this area is the area where I'm gonna go in and check. So pretty, the paw print can tell you if it's a young leopard or the old leopard. The size of the track will tell you. Mostly the young leopard tracks are very small, and the old leopard, the tracks are very broad. Male and female tracks also don't look the same. Female tracks are much thinner, and the male leopards are much broader. So this is the area I saw the tracks coming in. And there is even another road by the other side. If I don't find anything by this little gully, it means I'm going to have to proceed and check if this leopard didn't cross to that side. But I can promise you the chances of us seeing this leopard, they are very much high, because the sun is very much strong. When the sun is strong like this, it does ground the activities of these big cats. So they don't really like it walking by the sun. Jacqueline, the chances of a leopard to attack a human, they are very much high. But here in Djuma, the leopards, they are still behaving their natural life. Their behavior is not modified at all. What modifies the behavior of the animals is what is happening in their area of distribution. What is happening in the surrounding matters the most. If there is a lot of animal hunting in the area, then animals tend to be aggressive. Also, if there is too much translocation and game capturing, it modifies the animals as well. So here, we don't have such problems. Animals are still having the natural human fear. So this is the area the tracks I saw came in. There's a little gully again there. I just have to check here very, very careful. So I can't see the tracks on the ground, but here there's a lot of green bushes which can be ideal for these kind of cats to hide in. So the squirrels are not making any noise, and they are my good friends. The squirrels is the one who normally gives me the updates. The leopards, they do like to hang up by the trees, but normally during the day you will find them lying down in gullies. The gullies are this old dry riverbed. That is where they like it the most, because those kind of areas are the areas which are very much moist and humid. It's not that hot as outside. By the drainage line, there is quite a lot of green trees, because it's where the water is flowing during the rain. There's still quite a lot of water underground. So what is growing by the drainage line, you find most of green trees. So by the trees, yes, they do go up. Mostly when they've got a kill, that is where they hang up. Sometimes when a tree is too green and they need some shade up there, they can go up and use their spot to blend with the leaves in order to avoid detection as well. So this leopard came here. Anna, the leopards, they don't live in the den, but don't get confused. Where the leopards are living is also determined by what is happening at that time. For example, if it's a female leopard having the cubs, they can hide their cubs in the den. In other words, the leopards, when they are still very young, they do stay in the dens. But as they are growing, then they are going to be exposed outside. And that is when you will find them hiding here under the trees. The old leopards, they stay here on the ground. They are more terrestrial than fossorial. They don't really go underground. Fossorial are just those animals who stays under the ground. So here I have checked and I didn't see anything, but it does not mean the leopard is not here. I might hear birds or any other animals giving alarm calls in the very same area I have checked. This ideal spot helps these cats in order to hide. So, but the cat that I am thinking is the one responsible for the tracks, Hosanna. It doesn't really hide away from us whenever we are looking for him. He's just natural. He just lives the way he wants, and we see him. He doesn't have any potential to hide away from us. Sebastian, that is quite a lovely question. The leopards are not identical. Yes, they can be the leopards coming from the same gene pool, but they are not identical. Each one of them has got its own spots. So it's like our fingerprints. Our fingerprints, they are not the same, but they look more or less the same. So leopards too is like that. It is so very quiet here in terms of the warning calls. So the squirrels are not even making any noise as well. Here, I saw some other tracks here. Let me just verify. Yeah, the hyenas were also here, and hyenas, they always come after these leopards. But I've got a strong belief that we're gonna find this animal here in this area. So now I am going to check this road to see if the tracks didn't cross to this side. So if the tracks has crossed here, it means I must have to carry on much more that side and check this block now. No update. The leopards, they are much more active during the night, but you can see them during the day. You know, quite a lot of records will tell you they are active between dawn and dusk. But if you come here, the practicality, you won't see them much more active at that. Leopards are just opportunistic, and when they are sleeping now, if anything comes here, he's not going to leave it. He will wake up and want to catch it. So the leopards, they can be active during the day. The weather condition also influence their movements. When it's overcast, they can walk around during the daytime. So according to the tracks I saw there, they were heading much more this side. So if I don't see any tracks crossing here, it means he might be still somewhere in there. Yeah, I am not seeing any tracks here, so it means I must check this little gully from up here. Pretty, the leopards, they do get injured by their paws because of the thorn trees. I have seen that happening. You will see sometimes doing like this and they take off the thorns there. So leopards, they are not like the baboons, which can be able to groom each other and help each other when there are thorns. So they have got to use their teeth in order to get rid of those kind of thorns whenever they step on it. Oh, I got the tracks here. Let me just check if the tracks are out going that side. I think I saw the tracks somewhere here. There's some tracks there. But the tracks I'm seeing now, these ones, they look old. They are not as fresh as the track I saw earlier. So let me just drive around here on this road and see. So the track I saw now, I'm not convinced. So I'm still sure that this leopard is stuck behind us. So to make it simple, I'm just gonna go around here. Thank you very, very much to all the viewers who are wishing me all the best on this leopard search. I hope we're gonna find him. Oh, there's some impalas here. I just saw the impalas here now. So, and these impalas are heading much more towards child of the universe. And not a lot of antelopes has died, but the animals that we have lost, that we have seen here, it was quite a few nyalas. So the few nyalas died, but it was not like as a result of the drought. So what kills the animals by this time of the year is the following. By the end of the dry season, or some other people, they call it a drought season. The end of the dry season, the animals, they go through quite a lot of stress. And stress, like in humans, they will cause you problems such as heart attack and stroke. But here, by these animals, when they're stressed, they do go through a problem of myopathy. Myopathy is kind of a disease which affects their muscles. So when they are affected by the muscles, they cannot climb even a very small little hill because the joints and the muscles don't support their weight. And you will see the symptoms such as fatigue, and then they've got problems with the blood transport. And that is what kills the animals. So those kind of nyalas that has been recorded dead, some of them has been taken to the scientific investigation, and the results confirmed that it was indeed the myopathy. That is why this what is called a captured myopathy. A captured myopathy is also a stress which is caused by us human when interfering with the animals during the game capturing. When we are capturing and translocating animals, these kind of sicknesses which affect the muscles, they do affect animals, and animals, they die. Another thing which causes the mortality of animals by the end of the dry season is the nutrition which is by the trees, which is low and failing to support the body of the animal to be strong enough in order to fight cold, in order to fight heat, and in order to fight against the animal's chemical reaction in the form of tannin, which is a poison animals use, a chemical animals use, trees to use to regulate browsing activities. So their bodies by this time of the year, because of the dry season, are not strong enough in order to fight against simple problems. So now is the time. We can now cross over to the Masai Mara, where David, he is eager to take over from me at this stage.
A very good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our drive from the Mara Triangle in Kenya. And we, excuse me, we apologize for having been not, online for a few minutes, but all good now. My name is David, and with me today is Bungay. Bungay, good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. And my plans today is to look for some lions that we call the Olololo Pride. I have not seen them for quite some time, but this could be a good day for me to look for them because Steve is not in this area. He has gone in a different direction. All right. Remember, this is a very interactive safari that we do. So your questions, comments are very welcome. I'm sure Sydney already told you using hashtag SafariLive. And that is on Twitter. So I'll first swing by the marsh area and then see what... Sorry, I missed that question from Karen. Let's get some baboons there. Carl, I'm sorry, I missed your question, and you're asking, is this Africa? If that's your question, yes, the Mara Triangle Game Reserve is in a country called Kenya, and Kenya is in East Africa, and East Africa is in Africa. That's a good question. And Carl, the first thing I'm going to show you today will be some baboons. And this type of baboons, we call them the olive baboons. And baboons, just like primates, just like us, are omnivores, and they would eat both green and carnivores. Green, I'm talking about like there, they could be picking seeds, they could be picking any roots, they could also be picking any insect that they find on the way as they walk. One unique thing about the baboons, they go in groups. That one has a baby bungay. Very good job, bungay. See, carrying a small little baby on the back. So it could be anything they are picking, and as they say, they are omnivores. It could be insect like locusts, grasshoppers, any beetles they get on the way, worms. But here, I would guess or think they are picking more of grass seeds than anything else. We got another type of baboon in Kenya that's called the yellow baboon, but that's more of low elevation and drier areas. How nice to have a ride on the back of that mother there. And that one at the back to me is so huge, and my guess is that might be a male. Just yes, that is a male by virtue of his size. Alan, happy to hear your name again, and you're asking whether I speak Swahili, and I'll tell you what. In Kenya, or rather in East Africa, the national language of the three countries of East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, is Swahili. So my national language is Swahili, and I don't know how much Swahili you know, Alan. I'll give you one word for today, and when I say hello to you, next time I am going to say Jambo, J-A-M-B-O. So Jambo is hello in Swahili, which is my national language. I can as well say Jambo to the baboons there. And they move in big groups that we call a troop. So you can easily say a troop of baboons. Or if you want, you can also say a congress of baboons. Both males and females as they move. And the monkeys that are very intelligent when you see them moving. And the area we come from, they come to the gardens and they keep stealing our food. Christine, you'd like to know, as I move and leave the baboons alone, are they aggressive? I would say no. What they would do, sometimes see them come into the campgrounds, and when they come, they'll just be looking for food, and they come and browse what they can get. But sometimes when we get people being a bit careless and not disposing, some waste nicely, like potato peels or fruit peel, you'll see them going through the garbage and trying to turn over the garbage basket and getting some food. But in general, they are not aggressive to people. We have like a little fence by the camp, and the fence is electric, and you'll get them, the lead male that we call the alpha male, coming with a stick, a dead stick, and pressing the live wire of the camp, and then they all come jumping in, and the last one to come in, second last, holds the stick for the other one also to go in. Very intelligent, I would say, monkeys. As we said, sometimes monkeys are very cheeky. Now I got another brother of mine who got something different from my monkeys.
Well, look at what we found. Good afternoon, everybody. We have found a beautiful male giraffe pouncing through the open plains of the Mara Triangle. You can tell by the grass at its feet it is extremely windy. Good afternoon. My name is Steve. I'm joined on camera by Big James, and we are out in the Mara Triangle, and it is windy and blustery, and there's a good chance there's going to be animals or carnivores in there, for that matter, moving about. So we've decided to come in towards the escarpment road, and we're going to hug this all the way down and see who we come across along the way. But back over to this beautiful black and white ostrich, a male ostrich indeed. Don't see any ladies anywhere nearby. We rarely see them down in Djuma, but they are quite a common occurrence up here in the Mara, primarily due to the habitat being nice and open. Ostriches do fall prey to large predators such as lion, cheetah and leopard, so they need to be able to see where they're going and what is approaching them. Very nice meat ostrich. Did I introduce this as the giraffe? I'm sure I said ostrich. Did I say giraffe, James? James doesn't believe I said giraffe. Sorry everybody if I did. Well, it's clearly not a giraffe, it is an ostrich. Beautiful ostrich with a black and white plumage. So essentially the reason why males are black and females are sort of rufously brown, dusty colored, due to the fact that the males will essentially incubate the eggs at night time, being more camouflaged at night with the blackness, and the females by day. And they take turns incubating their eggs, which one egg is equivalent to about 22 or 24 chicken eggs, so an enormous amount of protein, and they are very, very well sought after by many an animal out on the open plains. One ostrich egg would see an animal doing very, very well. Rupi, ostriches, well, they don't mind being in groups. You'll often find them in groups, but out here, there's not actually that many ostriches around, to be honest, but essentially ostriches should be spending a lot of time out in the open plains, and they can be in small groups. They can be solitary like this male. Maybe he doesn't have a lady, but often they are seen with a male and female and their offspring, and the offspring can number anywhere from 4 to about 7 or 8, following mum and dad around. They are known as precocial, which means the eggs are laid very large. As I said before, lots of protein in the egg, and that gives the chicks the ability to develop to a much more established age, and there's no parental care with regards to feeding. The chicks all hatch at the same time, and then off they will follow mum and dad. So often you'll find a group of them together. Every now and again you find lonely guys out here, poor thing. But in more favored habitats, where the territory is maybe a little bit better or the food sources a bit better, you'll definitely find groups of 7 or 8 males trying to attract the attention of the females, and so on. A bird that has completely given up flight for the ability to walk and run very, very quickly on the ground. The feathers and wings only being used for insulation, the wings for display and dancing, and also as an intimidation. When they run to chase a predator away, they lift their eggs out. Ben, you want to know how often they lay eggs? Well, that's a great question. I would assume they would do it once a year, but I could be wrong. Being a large bird, they don't really have the time to incubate more than 2 clutches a year, but maybe in really good seasons they might be able to lay more than 1 set. I'll have a quick little look. So essentially they can lay throughout the year. Can get a total of 17 eggs in one nest, which is an incredible amount, but generally averaging 8 to 14. 2 to 3 are laid per day, and what happens is they'll lay the eggs and move away. Lay the eggs and move away, and only incubating once all the eggs are laid, and through that period basically all of the eggs will then hatch at the same time, called synchronistic hatching, so that you get all the babies coming out at the same time, so that the attention with one chick hatching doesn't attract the attention of predators to eggs that haven't yet hatched. Aiden, they could not fly, regardless of their weight. They've outdone it now. They don't have any barbs on their feathers. So essentially, I do apologize for the wind, essentially their feathers are loose. If you've ever had an ostrich feather, they're very, very useful for feather dusters. They don't have barbs. The barbs are essentially zips on the feathers which attach them together almost like a zip would on a bag, except all of the feathers on normal birds zip together, and the ostriches have no barbs at all. So when they flap their wings, there's absolutely no downward pressure given. It's just like flapping a loose cloth in the wind. There's no attachment, there's no physical boundary or barrier pushing down, which is essential for birds to be able to fly. The barbs in the wings, it's why birds will preen regularly, cleaning their feathers and also re-zipping any feathers that have come unzipped, so as to provide maximum thrust for when they fly around. So ostriches have given it up all together, and the feathers, as I say, are mainly there for insulation, and the male and female for mate recognition. Oh yes, Annihilator, the males do a very intricate dance of waving their wings around in circles and lowering their shoulders and really showing off to the ladies how it's done. And well, she's quite picky, and if the dance isn't done to her specifications, she will probably move on and pick a male who's got some more dance moves or some better dance moves, or maybe has harnessed the ability to dance even better than maybe a younger male who really doesn't have the rhythm. You know, not everybody's got the right rhythm, and well, ostriches, when they see a man, they want him to have the proper rhythm. It's all about technique. And this poor guy, well, he's all on his own. I'm scanning in the distance, seeing if there maybe is a female nearby, but there's not. And you can tell that being on his own is quite risky, because he got to lower his head very low to the ground to feed, and each time he does that, he's at risk of being snuck up upon. So hence the fact that he's constantly raising his head in alert awareness, very jumpy in the wind. Anything could be trying to sneak up next to him as we speak. Wouldn't that be interesting to watch? A cheetah coming out of nowhere, pulling down this male. Because a leopard would really love to take down an ostrich. I'd love to see what Tingana would do to him. But talking about leopards, Sydney is on the search of the little chief. I wonder how he's getting along.
Still looking for this leopard here in the area, and Steve was talking about the leopard and the ostrich. I have witnessed a sighting many years ago of the leopard catching an ostrich. Ostrich is the fastest two-legged animal on the ground. So I can see the squirrel on the ground. The squirrel must climb a tree and try to help me find this leopard. When they're on the ground, they cannot see the leopard I'm looking for. So according to the tracks, this leopard is in this block. So I'm checking another area here, this road, a border, just to see if he has not yet crossed to the private concession side. The leopards and the domestic cats, they are all cats, and the cats, they've got more or less same kind of behavior. So the leopards, they sleep more, because the leopards, they eat quite a lot, more than the domestic cats, and eating too much needs to be given a lot of time. You here have got a beautiful kudu. This is a beautiful kudu. Look at that. He's just here. What a magnificent kudu. This is a gorgeous kudu indeed, and he's not even worried about us here. You can see all he's doing is eating. He's just getting the fresh leaves coming from the tree. His body conditioning, you can see that he was getting thin, but now it's time for him to regain again and look much better. Those horns are so big. Look at that. He completed the first second. You can see that is 1, 2, 3, a 3 twist. So a horn is consisted of a bone and a keratin. So the black we are seeing on the outside is the keratin. This is what creates the difference between the horn and the oxycone for the giraffe. So giraffe doesn't have this layer of keratin on the outside. If you look on the face, the kudu has got a V line. This gorgeous kudu has got a V line on the face. Gorgeous kudu as per the viewers. So the gorgeous kudu has got the V line, which is there as an anti-predatory strategy. So they can vibrate the skin here on the face, which then makes the predator, when looking at them, think that the kudu is dangerous, whereas it's not. So the kudus can be able to jump very high. From a standing position, he can jump 2 to 4 meters high fence. That is too high. When he's running, he can easily jump. Sometimes they even try to jump over a vehicle. A Costa, the horns, I'm not too sure about the weight of these horns, but they cannot that be very heavy. I have handled them before. It's not a very heavy horn. So these kudu horns are some of those. They are some of those. Those are some of those instruments people were using in order to create music during the olden days. So now let's cross over back to Steve in the Masai Mara.
Look at what we found in the middle of the day. You can tell the wind is unbelievable. We've got an owl. It looks to be an African grass owl. I think, I'm not 100% sure. If anybody can correct me there, you're most welcome to. But it is not enjoying this wind at all. And they're regarded as if it is the grass owl, which looks very familiar to me. And it is a very uncommon resident in southern Africa and are highly endangered due to the destruction of the natural grasslands, transformed into either agriculture or into residential area, as they just live in the grass. This guy trying to find some shelter in the tree, and very he's not in the best spot. The wind is blowing him all over the place. How interesting. So similar to the serval that we've spent some time with earlier this week, this will be a nocturnal predator of rodents in the long grass, as well as some birds and maybe some insects that they can catch. They can spend some time walking around, but they do have quite a large wingspan, and that bowl-like face, typical to the earless owls such as the barn owl, the grass owl. That bowl-like face actually is able to channel sounds of anything that are moving around in the grassland underneath. The smallest little rustle of a mouse on the grass as they fly over with enormous wings. Very silent flight. We spoke earlier about the ostrich not having barbs on the wing, so they can't fly. Well, the owl, with their small body weight to their enormous wingspan, most owls actually have a reversible zip on the wing, on the feathers, which mean that it doesn't cause that downward friction motion. If you've ever heard a small bird flying away, you can actually hear the frup, 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 frup of the wings moving. Now on an owl, because they've got enormous wings for their body weight, doesn't have that sound because the wings are very big to enable them to fly silently, and they don't have those barbs to enable that downward forcing pressure, and that together enable them to have silent flight, and with that bowl on their face actually channels the sound of any moving rustle towards their ears, which are on the sides of their head. And their head basically has ears that are at a different level on each side, so the bird is able to triangulate the slightest of movements in the pitch blackness. Coast-sider, yes, it is very similar to a barn owl, very similar indeed. It's just a bit darker in color. Barn owls are very creamy, but they look similar with that same sort of face, and the bowl face that they have, and no ears, tufts that you can see. Normally when we see owls with what we call ears, they're not actually ears, they're ear tufts, which are mainly designed designed for camouflage or also supposedly for mate recognition. But the grass owl doesn't really need camouflage because it nests in the ground or on the grass, whereas a barn owl also nests in sort of a cavity. Your tree owls, such as the giant spotted and the scops, those sort of owls need ear tufts to blend in with the background. It kind of breaks up that rounded head. But you can actually see the foot of the owl. We've got what we call zygodactyl feet on owls, 2 toes forward and 2 toes back. And Sydney talking earlier about tracks. Owls have got the coolest tracks with basically a very nice sort of X in the sand or a K that they leave when they land. Shamsong, this is number 160. That's fantastic. Fantastic to hear. Poor little owlie is hiding there. Moments before, though, folks, I nearly jumped out of my seat because a peregrine falcon was flying in the air. It was impossible for James to capture it because it was using this wind to its advantage to fly around and really move with some absolute speed. The owl hiding in the shade of the tree, trying to avoid the wind. The peregrine falcon harnessing it. Zach, I'm not aware of any owls that migrate. Invariably, owls take on a nocturnal prey source, most of it being rodents and the like, so they don't really need to because there's plenty of them throughout the year. The reason and the way they've eliminated the need to migrate is by evading space or changing space and time and being active by night when some of their competitors are not. So owls, no need to migrate that I know of. If anybody knows of an owl that migrates, please let me know. I've never heard of it. Liam, 12 years old, I have no idea why he's not moving. Maybe he thinks he's in the best spot, or maybe he's having a proper sleep. They are normally sleeping in the daytime, but you can see the wind is really pushing him around, her around. It's not the most comfortable of positions, is it? Well, that's fantastic. Just spotted it as we came around the tree there. Okay, well, it sounds like the rhinos are really being out and about the last couple of days, and David seems to have found one for himself this afternoon.
Well, another rhino here, and this is a black rhino trying to disappear. It's going, oops, marking territory now. You can see it there. Just spraying, and oops, it's a big poo, eh? Oops. What a timing, eh? And they'll normally scratch the ground after they just drop their poo, and that is an indication of marking their territory. And that's very characteristic of most rhinos, and most of the black rhinos, as he disappears there in the thickets. And it might have been mentioned before, this owl is very shy, very secretive. Of the 2 species of rhinos that we got in Africa, the black and the white, always browsers preferring to remain in bushes and slowly and surely trying to fade away. Not sure why he got like a ring on his bum. If you look carefully, he got like a ring that you'd see on waterbucks. The waterbucks that we call the common waterbucks, they have like a white ring on their bottoms, and it's very strange to see something similar on that rhino that have slowly and surely disappeared in the orange leaf croton. It's not going very deep in the thickets. It's staying on the edge. Consider you're asking, are they strong? I would say rhinos are very strong, and out here in the bush, the 2 animals you'll always try to avoid, either rhinos and buffaloes, because they don't have a very good vision, but they smell very well. Rather, they hear very well, so you don't want to take a chance with rhino. In my village, because we used to have them not very far from where I grew, we were being told by our parents, if you see a rhino coming on your way, just stand near a tree or just next or beside a tree and it's going to charge you full speed. And as soon as it gets close to the tree or where you are, just move like 2 meters away, and it'll just come and bash itself on that tree, and that will hurt it so much. And by the time it's recovering, you'll have taken off. Very good. Let's see how well we're going to do with the Big Five today, because Sydney in South Africa has found one of the Big Five.
I managed to find Hosanna here after such a very long trekking. Hosanna is here and he seems to be doing some hunting at the moment. I can see that he's looking at something. So I am going to keep following so that you can have a better sighting. He has been walking deep in the thick bushes, so we had to trek and try by all means and search everywhere until we got lucky to meet him. So he was right on top of a termite mound here, trying to scan this area to see far. And we have just passed a pregnant duiker somewhere here, so he might be now looking for a chance. As we have shown you earlier that the weather is getting better, I can see that now it's getting overcast, and this is going to influence this cat to hunt. So I can see that he is looking at something here now. Look at that. You can see how he's walking. Can you see that? Look at that. Thank you very, very much, Becky, for such a lovely comment. Look at that. You can see that he's looking at something. I cannot see what he's looking at. So I am trying to check here what he's up to, but I am not seeing anything. He's sniffing the ground and he's looking, and he doesn't want to make noise. You can see he's using the available cover and he's sniffing the ground again. He is checking something here from the ground. He is slowly moving in there. This is a thick bush, so I want to see when he comes out from that thick bush, what is it that is aiming. He came out of that thick bush. So he is now watching it from the side. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to try and pull further a little bit so that we can see what he is aiming. I'm just gonna drive a little bit and free wheel. Maybe we might be able to see what he is looking at. So he is trying to get all the updates from the ground here, and he is looking everywhere. So the animals can be able to sniff and good news, Hosanna, indeed. I didn't copy very well what you're saying, but I can promise you here now, Hosanna is talking something and is using all the different kinds of senses. His stomach looks very hungry. So you can see he's doing hunt during the day. That is telling you now it's not about him lying down, something coming for him to take. He is now out looking for something to eat. So all we are going to do now is to keep following until we get a better sighting. We don't want to miss any action So now we are going to move again and see if we can find him nicely. Now let's cross over to the Masai Mara, where Steve is having the striped animal.
Well, welcome back. We are with some plains zebra out in the open plains. The light is just gorgeous on this at the moment. They're a little bit edgy, just like that ostrich, except at least they've got some friends. When it's windy like this, it's really a tough time for most animals. Wind is pumping, it's very hard to, well, it eliminates their sense of hearing straight away. They can't hear the approach of anything. And they know there's lots and lots out on these. Ooh, there's a little bit of animosity there. Whoopsie. What's going on? Settle down. Joy, you would like to have seen some zebra? Well, here we go. We've managed to find you a nice little herd. There's probably at least 2 sort of breeding herds here by the number. It's quite a large herd if it was just one stallion. But what does happen from time to time, due to the fact that male zebra will defend their consorts against a male lion or against lions, quite often they'll actually turn against the lion and end up getting killed themselves. And what happens is that they then leave their entire herd or harem of females alone. And what happens from time to time is that a male with a group of ladies himself will just acquire them, sort of take them in under his wing and look after them as he would some of his own. Okay, well, let's quickly go back down to the little chief who's on the move.
I am here still following the little chief of Juma, who is now trying to stalk the prey at the moment. But now I still can't see what he's aiming. It has been a long distance. He is keep following and following, and I can't see what exactly he is following. So what I'm doing here is just to keep guided by his interest and the ears and the concentration. Oh, sorry. There he is looking somewhere far. You can see there he's now looking at something which is very far. So the problem is he's hunting, and he's hunting moving diagonally much more towards the private concession. So I hope he's not going to cross, or he will catch something before he gets to the border. So he's still going further there. He's giving himself much time. You can see he doesn't want to hurry anything. He's so very much patient. About 2-3 months ago, he was impatient. Now he's gaining a lot of experience. I can see that he doesn't want to rush. He's taking it easy. He's got a strong belief in himself now. So, Event, I didn't copy your question nicely. This is Hosanna. Hosanna is very popular by the name the Little Chief. He's just about to get to 3 years old. Next year, February, he will be 3 years. He's still a youngster, not responsible of any territory at the moment. So he's staying together in the same area with his father by the name of Tingana, who is the territorial holder. These two, they interact a lot. So I can see now he is very much settled, but he is looking forward and he is raising the head up. He is not lying down completely. So it means his prey might be still on a distance. Smith, Osana is one of those leopards who lost their mothers while they were still very young. And this cat, I can promise you, might have experienced quite a lot of difficulties. That is why he is so skillful while he's still very young. So if they lose their mothers while they're still young, leopards, they can be very much solitary, and they've got to do everything just by themselves. So with the help of the mother, they can stay together with the mother until they get to 18 to 22 months, and that is when they become independent. So but if the mother dies at the earlier stage, then it means he must have to do everything by himself. That is why he's got quite a lot of confidence in himself, because he has been alone for quite a long time. So now I'm going to throw you back to the Masai Mara. In few seconds, you will be in Masai Mara.
All right, welcome back, and we are watching some antelopes here. Let me just position myself nicely, and tell me, Bungay, when to stop. Keep coming. Is that good? Alrighty, we've got some huge antelopes here that we call the toppies, and they're together with another different species, which is sometimes difficult to see. Sorry, Bungay, I caught you off guard there, but beautiful light we got. And this reminds me of the sesebes that you see in South Africa. I would guess they're cousins. And to me, the sesame is a little darker than the toppies here. The one beautiful thing about the toppies, if you happen to see closely inside the ears are so beautiful. They're lined up. It looks like a leaf, the inner part of the ear. And you see the grey on the legs, which makes them look very unique, unlike all the other antelopes. The sesebes have more uniformity on the colors, like the toppies, because you can see the dark brown, the light brown, and the other bigger brown, main brown on the part of the body. And also, just like the wildebeest, they'll be going for short grass. Now, let's go to the Grand Gazelle. And those are the Grand Gazelle, and that one is a female. Rain, very good question. How long does the dry season last in Kenya? Let me say we got 2 seasons of rainfall here in Kenya. We got the long rains and the short rains. Now, rain, what we're expecting to get now, are the short rains, which haven't come through as yet. And in the meantime, let's first take you across to Sydney, because Sydney got something that could be going for a hunt.
Hosanna at this stage is just keep stalking and moving a little bit further and focus. After some time, he's doing the same thing and focus. But still, I can't see what he's seeing. And none of the animals have spotted him so far. But he's going to be disappointed by the wind. The wind is now blowing too much, changing all direction. Look at that. Look at that. You can see that there's something here that he's seeing, and he really doesn't want to get spotted. You can see how he's stalking and how he's going close to the ground. So I can't see what is fascinating this cat at the moment. And he's using the cover right in front of him. You can see there's some bushes there. Those are the bushes he's using. And what he's looking at is much more on the left, but now he's concentrating on the right. NW, indeed, Osana is so handsome. Look at that. Look at the colors there and the back going up. The roses, rosette. It looks like too many flowers, rose flowers. You see, he's again going further, but I cannot see where his target is. At this stage, I'm not going to move at all because I can see the opening in front, that if there is anything, we'll be able to enjoy the sighting from here. I am checking everywhere and he is raising the head up, but I can't see where his aim is. You see, this cat has got, these cats, the Tingana, Hosana, and all other predators, their eyes are high up on top, which is there suitable for stalking, because when the head is lowered, they can still see and maintain focus. And when it's raising the neck, then is west, they can see very well, and they can aim very nicely. Nancy, the tail is not as long as it is. The tail is just about 94 to 100 centimeters. So it's not that very long. So that tail you are talking about is the tail which will tell you a lot about the internal mood of an animal, and is there for the non-verbal communication. Look at that. You can see that he is not walking as usual. Now, that is a hunting move. Maybe he's aiming at something small like a scrubber. I can't see what he's aiming at. But now you can see he's coming behind the bush again. But still, focus is much more towards the eastern side. So the focus is on the left. It might take time until we see what he is aiming at. He might win this hunt or not. Predators, they are gifted with the predatory strategies, and the prey animals, those who get caught, they are also equipped with a good sense of smell and hearing. So it's not like when the predator is hunting, it means he's going to win. So you can see now he's coming in between the trees. Niconico Hosana, now the wind is on his favor. The wind is blowing towards us, and we are at the direction where he's coming from. So the wind is on his favor. It's just that wind is not guaranteed. It can change at any time. So it seems like he's using the advantage of the wind at the moment. And the trees are making noise. The leaves who are coming out are making noise, and also the dry branches. The chances for him to get closer and closer when not heard, they are very much high. You can see that he doesn't want to raise the head. You see, look at how he's moving. He doesn't want to raise the head. And then again, he is sitting there. I am trying by all means, but I can't see. I was going to show you what he is aiming at, but now I can't, because I cannot even see what he is aiming at. Until I find out, I will show you. So all we've got to do now is to enjoy his strategies. You can see that he doesn't want to even yawn that big. It was a quick yawn. So now he's up to something. He doesn't want to yawn. Sorry, the animals can be able to detect quite a lot of things in the air. You are right. When the wind is blowing, it can be able to pick up air particles. And from the air particles, you can know very well about the presence of the animal and the presence of other animals of the same species, including their territorial status. So he came through the bushes, now he's by the open space, still concentrating. He is now grooming himself a little bit. So he's also checking everywhere. So now it looks like he's looking for something and he's listening. It looks like an animal who doesn't know what he's looking for, who is just going with the wind to check who is coming and where is the smell coming from. When he started his hunt, it was convincing that he's got a target right somewhere in front. But now where he's sitting, it's difficult to tell if there is a target or he picked up just something from the air particles and is trying to get closer. Romario, the leopards can go up to approximately 60 to 94 kilometers per hour, and that is too fast. But the thing is, you will never see Hosanna chasing an animal for quite a long distance. When the cats such as leopard, Hosanna, when they're hunting, they use a strategy which is called a sit and wait strategy. It's a sit and wait predator. Some other people, they refer it as an ambush predator. He will go and get closer until he gets to 5 meters. Less than 10 meters to 5 meters is when he's going to launch a surprise attack and attack something. These ones, they use energy to drag something up into a tree, and they use energy to kill because everything is happening just by himself. Nobody's there to assist him. If he doesn't conserve energy, hyenas will come and he will lose the kill. He must be able to drag something heavy up into a tree. You can see now the movement is not the same as previous. Now he is very high up. When he got there, he was going very low, but now he's high up. Yeah, now he's just walking normally, so it means maybe something happened to his target. Maybe the target moved to the wrong direction and now he's deciding to just keep going forward. So I'm still going to check. I will be following him. I want to see if there will be any kill this afternoon. I want to witness that. Jonathan, that is one of the challenges in the bush. You get guided by what the prey is doing. So you don't decide when the prey is feeding going this way, you have to change direction. When the prey is going that way, you must change direction. When the prey is trying to check if something is coming, you must have to go down and hide. So now my friend David by the Masai Mara is also out on a drive.
Boss. Wow, we have come to a place where we've got a sighting of 3 different species at the same time, and let's see the best Bungei can do, because we got, let's start with the baboons, we also got elephants, and we also got, what else we got there, Bungei? Right, Elise, where have you been, Elise, the whole day? Buffaloes. Excellent. So we got 2 of the big 5 here. Sorry, there's a car behind there, and they're also enjoying this sighting just like us. Baboons. Could be the most likely the baboons we saw earlier. The olive baboons. And look at how peaceful this sighting is. That everybody have, his or her own space, enough to eat. Are baboons common, Hannah? Yes, they are common, but it will depend on where you are and what you're doing. This particular species, they are all over. I would say they are all over East Africa. And when you go further down to South Africa, you'll see a different species that is called a chakma baboon. These ones here, Anna, are called the olive baboon. And you can see one of that guy, he's so huge. And the difference between the 2 that you see there, the one I guess on the right of your screen should be a male. Males in general are bigger in size. Now just look at that beautiful sighting of baboons, buffaloes and elephants together. This gives me lots of joy in my work, that I could just come and sit and watch these different species here without interfering with each other, and the final controller says this is pretty awesome. And this makes Africa a very special destination for people to visit. And remember, this is a very interactive safari we are doing. Should you have any questions or comments, please send them through #SafariLive on Twitter. This guy's gonna clear the way, sorry about that, and then we shall own these elephants and baboons and the buffaloes. So that buffalo there I think is a boy, and by coincidence the male or the baboon there also I think is a boy. Are you going to try to put... No. See, the buffalo is full of mud, and there is a heron following the buffalo. This is very exciting. That could be the black-headed heron. And what she would be doing as the buffalo walks, he disturbs some grass, and the heron will be jumping at those invertebrates, be they, some types of insect, either locusts or grasshoppers. Is a behavior also done by some birds we call the egrets. She decided just to keep going and just chance on maybe there would be busy buffalo that's moving around in the grass. Huge male elephant in the background there. Nice, nice. Now we got rhinos, we got buffaloes, we got Hosanna, elephants for the big 5. Let's find out what's remaining, and let's go back across to Sydney.
I have got an interesting animal at the moment, and this animal, if you look at him now, he is right aiming at something. Look at that, look at that. He's going down, he's not chasing, he's just going down, and he's moving that fast, and he was looking at something much more that side. So I can see that he's going much more towards the western side. We are really battling to see what this cat is aiming at. I can see now he is again going down, how he's going there in between the grasses. So he's going down. On a very slow pace, and you can see him bending the front legs, and how he is going down, that he is up to something. So it's just a continuation of what he was looking for. He's keep getting closer. Maybe now is when we will be able to see what is it giving him this kind of an interest. So it looks like Niconico, the movement of the leopard tails, they have got quite a lot of interpretation. Let me tell you something interesting which happened while I was following Tandy about a month ago. Tandy came across the 2 scrub hares. on different areas. The first scrub hare was behind the bushes, and Tandy wanted to get the scrub hare off the bushes, and she aimed the scrub hare. She stripped the floor with the tail to make noise for the scrub hare to pick it up and run, so that the scrub hare can run to the open space for Tandy to catch. It's just that she was not lucky to catch that scrub hare. So that tail, it can be used for a lot of things. So I don't think we've got a visual anymore. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to slowly approach and see what he's up to. Can't even see where he is at the moment, but I saw he went up this way. So he just got disappeared somewhere here. Oh, he's right on top of the termite mound. I can see now he's right there on top of the termite mound. Still looking towards the same direction. Look at that. You can see that this animal is not close. If he's raising that high, it means he wants to have a better visual. He's not close. To avoid detection, he lowers the head down. When that animal is doing something, he lowers the head down. So even if I don't see the animal, I can see that the animal has got a chance to spot him. That's why he's going down all the time. And he's not even bothered. No squirrels, nothing is alerting everybody about his presence. Look at that. He went to the back of the termite mound. And now I'm left with no option but to keep following so that we can see what's happening behind the termite mound. He's still moving forward. He's not running. The leopards, they don't give up easily. They only give up if they have been spotted. So this hunt, it can take very long. If the animal in front is going slowly and is not even picking up his presence behind, he's going to keep following until he get a chance. But if the animal spots him, he's going to give up immediately. So it looks like he's following something here in this area. But you can see now that he's still moving forward, and with the head up, you can see it's going down, it's going up, it's going down. So maybe the prey is somewhere here. Here is not much more open, so it's thick a little bit here. So it won't be easy for us to see everything. So I'm just going to pull forward again and see if we can have a good sighting. This is exciting. So this is lovely. I'm really enjoying having him doing this too. He's using the termite mound as a cover, and he's using the termite mound as an observation post during this hunt. You can see that available cover is needed. For hunting, you need available cover. I think there's quite a lot of prey animals where he is. Lorena, indeed, it is interesting seeing that there are no alarm calls here. Maybe it's because animals are not yet aware of his presence. He's taking his time. Maybe that is why. He's not rushing, but it looks like there's other animals here who are also catching his attention, because he's not only focusing ahead, he's also checking much more to the right. There must be other prey as well in the area. Dylan, I didn't copy your question very well. Dylan, the possibilities of Hosanna to pick up the scent of another leopard, they are more than 100%. 120%, because that is how they detect each other in the territory. When the wind is blowing, the wind blows with the scent, and the scent is the one which will let him know that there is another leopard moving, or there is a scent mark which is old or fresh. The scent mark can last for about approximately 3 months. The fresh scent marks, they know, they can tell that this has been done recently, and this animal is about 2.5 years old, and this animal is aggressive. This animal has got good gene for reproduction. From just sensing the smell, they know that the animal coming is violent or not. So those are part of the olfactory communication. It's a communication amongst these animals, which is from the secretion of various skin glands, including urine and droppings. So you can see that now he is settled. He is taking his time. He is not, and now again he's going low. So now we are going to quickly cross over to David, but if there is any developments here, we will come back soon.
Well, Sydney, hopefully Hosanna is going to do something, but in the meantime, we have found a feathered friend on top of a dry tree, and this is a marabou stock. And see how tall this bird is. Look at his thin, long legs to support her body, and you can tell how the wind is picking up and blowing, and she is doing the best she can to stay still and not to be blown away by the wind. And I think this wind is what will be bringing us some rain later in the day or tonight. You can see her long beak, which they will use when they're feeding or sometimes when they're fighting. It's pretty sharp and very strong. You may not be seeing very well, but if you look carefully, the legs look white, and apparently they're not white in color. It's because when they drop the poo, it's always like, lowering over their legs, and the whiteness there keeps them cool. Preening herself. Not far from where she is, there's an area that has a well, because they either scavenge or you'll get them in water areas where they'll be looking for something to feed. Trying to balance by lifting one leg up. Good job. We have always talked of the big five, and sometimes we have also talked of the ugly five, and marabou is one of them. Zach, yes, and I agree with you. That's pretty beautiful. And Zach, if you look carefully, he got a little sack right below the neck. And when they're in what we call breeding plumage, Zach, that sack swells and is bright, bright red. And it is used always to excite or the females, or for them to look very colorful. And the males will be able, to choose, or the girls or the females will get the males to mate with. Some of the tallest stocks that I know, another similar one would be the sandal-billed stock, but the marabous are quite tall. How she became one of the ugly five, I do not know, because to me she doesn't look very ugly. She got also a bald head, like the vultures. You realize most of the vultures got bald heads because when they scavenge or when they eat anything left behind by the predators, they may not get as much blood on the feathers that would be on their heads, like eagles, which most likely would make them sick. Tears from a Dream, yes, I would agree with you. Not ugly, and it looks different. I do not know what would be ugly out here. And I'm talking of the other four that people call the ugly five. You also got hyenas, the warthogs, the vultures, and the wildebeest. I would agree with you, Tears of Dream, that none of these animals is ugly, but they are all different. That's a good way to put it. I'll be telling all my friends and colleagues that we do not have anything that's the ugly five or, the beautiful five, but we can say all these animals are different in their own way. So we're going to be having this marabou stocks resting there, and we're going to move on and find out if we could be lucky to see some lions before it gets a bit dark. A friend of mine had told me they had seen lions around this area, and I am not seeing any sign of lions here. But if they're lying flat in the grass, it could be very difficult to spot them at the moment. Just chancing and crossing my fingers that I see one popping its head up because it has cooled off now. And this is the hour when they'll always rise and start moving because it's not warm, and maybe start making plans of getting themselves some dinner. With all the wildebeest gone now, they'd be looking for different prey or bigger prey. Let me just turn around, like either buffaloes like what we just saw a few minutes ago, or giraffes maybe, or elands. When it gets very difficult, you'll see even lions hunting, even hippopotamus. I mean, they don't take anything for granted. They'll have to survive. Come on, Mila, what happened there? Until the wildebeest will come back in the next migration. Steve had an ostrich earlier. They even go for ostriches. Okay. I have put on my Masai shuka on because I believe the temperatures must be less than 15 degrees centigrade, and I would also think there must be less than 60 degrees Fahrenheit at the moment. So I got 3 layers. Paula, and thank you very much. You love the green, and I think it's beautiful, and thank you for that great comment. And Paula, I might also show you something different. Apart from my green shuka, I also got some very nice boots. You see that? I'm not sure the green Masai shuka matches with my zebra boots or not, but I thought you saw my shuka in the morning, and I just wanted to know, I got something else on my feet. I haven't seen any zebras today. I should get some zebras and compare my boots to the zebras and find out whether my zebra boots are males or females. Lions, where could you be hiding? We need to see you before it gets dark. And we shall be completing our list today of the big 5, and you're going to make our Sunday. Thank you very much. You all love my boots, and any day that will end without me seeing the zebras, I'll feel a bit sad. And I still have a lot of time to search for the zebras, as I also search for the lions. The last my friends saw the lions to this particular area here. But if it gets cold and they decide to tag themselves like that because of the coldness, chances are I will miss them. But if it's not very cold for them because they got better fur and they rise up, we'll definitely see them. So cross fingers with me that we see some kitty cat in this area. Because the grass is not very high. I have no reason to see them. Very good. Let's go cross fingers and let's go back to South Africa, to Sydney.
We have got Hosanna now just in a little bit of a thick bushes there, still aiming at something. And since you have been to the Masai Mara, he has been in that bush. It seems like now he might be getting closer to what he's looking for. He is appearing for the first time out there since you have been by the Masai Mara. So he was just there hiding from the prey that he's targeting, a prey that we cannot see. So you can see that now again is going towards the next termite mound. So this animal is using the termite mound as a cover every time, and the observation post, as I indicated earlier, you can see it's not ending. Now he's aiming another termite mound. So it means from a termite mound, he aims the second termite mound, third termite mound, just like that. And please don't get surprised. There are some other vehicles coming to join me at the moment. Portia, the leopard's territory can be very big, but here we are talking about a territory which belongs to Tingana, which can be about 20 kilometers square. So the territory of leopard can go 20 kilometers square, more or less. Hosanna is not yet a territorial holder. He is just within someone's territory. So the territory for these leopards, like Tingana, they don't only stay in a game reserve like Juma alone. They trespass. The borders we have got only works to us. To these animals, they don't work. Fences has been taken down and they can be able to access the other private areas. So, yeah, let's hope he's gonna get something to eat here. He is still looking at something. And I'm just going to now move a little bit further so that we don't get obstructed by the other vehicle who are also looking for a sighting. So I'm gonna now look for a better spot again. There's a lot of artifact holes here, so I don't want to get stuck again. These artifacts can dig very deep on the ground. And here on top, you don't see, you just see the entrance hole and not seeing that this hole is very long and you might sink in there. So he's just left with a couple of I didn't copy your question very well because of the wind here where I am, but maybe Haji, it is safe to be in an open vehicle. Something you must have to take into consideration is that animals, when you are by the vehicle, open vehicles, they cannot see you there. only if you stand up, you break the shape of the vehicle, then they will spot something. Or if you move your hands rapidly, that is when they will be able to see that rapid action, that there is something there. You just have to take it easy and do everything slow. Don't stand. If you stand, you'll be breaking the shape of the vehicle, and is when they will be inquisitive. So you can see that on top of that termite mound, he looks so beautiful. He's such a beautiful cat. Look at the necklace. I haven't seen his kill for quite a long time. So even if he doesn't win now, I can promise you tomorrow morning we'll be hearing that he got something somewhere. So he's completely overcast at the moment, so which is something influencing his hunting. Colsex, if you look at that, this is quite, look at that. You can see when he is opening the mouth, when he's yawning is when you can see that necklace nicely. You can see that he's breathing so fast, as if he's a tired animal. Look at the pink nose. When he gets 8 years old, 9 years, that pink is gonna disappear and it's just going to remain black there. So you can see that, yeah, I can see that this is a lovely position, and good to all the viewers who are taking the screenshots at the moment. So you can see that the leopard, when he's hunting, if by any chance he gets spotted, he gives up. He doesn't want to lose energy for nothing. So you can see he's yawning all the time. So yawning makes the animals, it makes these animals to improve the mental efficiency. So when he's yawning like this is when he's going to be very much alert. MK has got very big teeth which can go up to 8 millimeters. That is quite 8-10 millimeters. That is very long. So those are the most important tool for this animal to kill a prey. They've got to pin those very long teeth by the neck here and kill an animal sometimes. So now let's cross over to the Masai Mara, where David is waiting to show you something.
Well, my lions have become elusive, but I'm very happy that Sydney is still holding Hosanna. Hosanna was my very first leopard that I saw when I went to Juma in South Africa. And I couldn't believe, I'm sure you've seen how those cars are designed. They don't even have, any doors. And Hosanna was barely, I would say, 2 meters away from where I was. And I thought that was very exciting. What I found out, the leopards in East Africa and the leopards in South Africa, well, they're all the same species, same everything. But the ones here are more skittish, not aggressive, but they aren't as used maybe to the cars and to people, just like the ones I would say in Juma. Here you'll see a leopard, you'll park your car, you could be the only one at that sighting, a second car comes, a third car comes, and that leopard just comes or climbs down the tree and it just disappears. And very unusual or almost impossible to see the leopards in East Africa, like on the grass, like here, like 10 meters away from the car. I would say I have never seen that. We'll always see them on top of trees, but should you see them on the grass is when they are walking either towards the bush or away from the bush. So I'm giving up now on my search for the lions and be looking for anything else that I might see. We could meet some maybe leopard walking on the way. Time for the hyenas to come out and start laughing, cackling. Jackals, this is a good time for them to be out. Let me see who else. I'm also thinking of bat-eared fox. I'll not be surprised to see a bat-eared fox out. As darkness comes, we have animals that we'll always check out. Definitely cheetahs are gone by now. They also move at night, but not like the lions, leopards, or the hyenas. They tend to be more active or more alive during the day than at night. Most birds will also be checking out, and we'll be having a few owls out. We'll be talking also of some nightjars. What else? Water thickening. So there's birds that will be coming out. Hippos, as much as they're not birds, they normally come out of water at night to feed, spending the better part of the day in water. We'll be driving very close to the Mara River later today and see if you're going to meet them coming out. Anna Marie, how are you? You like to see a savocat, I guess, and cross fingers. And savocats will also be coming out like now. We have a family that was spotted by Steve the other day, and it had some cubs. I'm not sure how many there were, maybe about 5. Not sure whether Anna Marie you saw that, and if you did, you're very lucky. If not, we are trying to find out if they have a den or an area that we can keep visiting them. We have found out definitely a den for the bat-eared fox. And yeah, and M just confirmed to me they got 2 cubs, the savocat, which is pretty exciting. And we have always seen the adults, you know, one, they're always very solitary. The savocats, you rarely see 2, Anna Marie, or 1 at a time. But to see one with 2 cubs, that was a very special sighting. We have vaguely an idea where they're staying, and what we need to do is to keep visiting that area until maybe we confirm for a fact that's where they live. And we'll always be coming and chancing and sneaking and hoping they will come out for us to see them. The bat-eared fox, definitely their den is confirmed, which is pretty good. Did you see something interesting there? And I thought Bungay had seen some nice animal, but not much, but it's just looking also very hard. Bungay is my camera operator tonight. Alrighty, lions, where are you? And if we'd see some lions now, they'd be just like in the middle of the road, just walking, and they like following the roads because it's clear. They can see easily where they're going, and they know where they're coming from. So just switched on my lights on because it's getting dark. But should we come to some nice sighting, we are going to use our infrared. And I'm sure it looks a bit dark here to most of you, unlike Sydney where he is, because in Kenya, we are 1 hour ahead of South Africa. So that translates to us, or to this area, getting dark much earlier than it is in South Africa. Thank you to the technology of infrared. And we can always see the animals without interfering or influencing their behavior. And we are already in infrared at the moment. Hopefully going to see something interesting to make us stop and show Bungay's magic of infrared. So many birds I'm seeing on the road, but every time I'm sure we'll stop to have a look at them, they're going to fly away. The birds that may not go away now are like mountain jars. Those will tend to stick on the road. And what else? Water thickness will stick on the road. Owls, like the marsh owl. And in Final Control tells me also in South Africa it's getting dark. And Sydney also might be in infrared. I'm seeing some elephants coming up, maybe another 3 minutes, which will be something good to watch. Very aggressive animals. So long as you do not surprise most of these animals, it's always safe to go as close as you can. You just keep your voices low, switch off your engine, don't have a lot of body movement, and we'll just watch them as they graze. A herd of elephants, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Elephants feeding like the whole day. Marissa, how are you? Have I ever been in a stampede? I'm not sure what stampede you're talking about, Melissa, but I have been many times in a stampede of wildebeest, not elephants. You do not want, Melissa, to be in a stampede of elephants. It could be a bit dangerous. Now, let's look at these ellies here to the left, because we got 5 there. So a stampede, Melissa, of elephants I've seen many times. I mean, of wildebeest I've seen many times, but I've always come out safe. Do you want the one on the right there, Bungay? I think they're much closer. Okay, Melissa, hopefully we don't get a stampede here with these ellies. And as I said earlier, so long as you approach them quietly, and so long as they can see you, it's always fine. The challenge comes when you sneak on them or you surprise them, then things will always sometimes go wrong. But as it is now, they can see us. We made sure they saw us before we got here, and they have ideally welcomed us to their world of feeding. Now you notice we are in infrared. That's why the elephant might look black and white in a way. Great technology where we do not shine any artificial light to these graceful and big mammals. And again, remember, this is a very interactive safari. We get lots of joy when we get questions from you or comments, which you may send through using hashtag SafariLive. Bungay, do you want to move the elephants on the left? How close are they? Let's see how well you can do that. Very good. Because this one here, they got some calves with them. You can just hear them uprooting the grass from the ground. So it's one and the same herd, and herds of elephants would be anything from 2 to 100. Proud cat mama, a very big jumbo from the Mara Triangle in Kenya, and yes, beautiful ellies, and how graceful proud cat mama they are, just feeding there without being worried by our presence. Ellies are intelligent animals, and I'm sure proud cat mama and all the other viewers, you have heard me saying many times, they are my favorite animals because of their high level of intelligence. This big mama going there, you can see this huge female. Not sure she's big in size or she is pregnant. You can see her mammary glands as she walks. And they're the only big animals some of the animals that will always have the mammary glands between the front legs. And sorry, ladies and gentlemen, Steve is having an issue a little bit with his camera. You might not see him for the next few minutes as he is trying to work out and fix his technical problem with the camera. So it's just me and Sydney who will keep entertaining you and showing you this beautiful African wilderness. I want to just move a little bit forward and see And Snacks, you're asking whether elephants got good night vision. I would say yes. I mean, this beast will keep feeding the whole night. And definitely they see what they are approaching, they see where they are going, and they see the trees or berries or fruit or leaves that they are eating. I would say they have very good night vision. Of course, maybe not seeing things in colors, but I would say seeing things, dark shades and light shades. I did have some good night vision. Punge, let me just move forward a little bit and see whether you can see the ones on the right a little better. It's pretty close to the road, and if I just move a few meters, and we might be able to see his forehead. He doesn't look very concerned with us, which is pretty good. And how is that, Punge? Good? Good? Is that good for you? Okay. Look at. And there they are, and you can see they look to be like two young bulls. We'll keep watching them, finding out whether they might do something, but in the meantime, let's go back to South Africa and see what Hosanna could be doing.
So Hosanna is now somewhere in these thick bushes, and there were some warthogs going in there earlier on. I can see now he's keep going in the bushes going down that side. So what I'm going to do is I am going to see if we can go to that area and have a better visual. The warthogs went very close to him. I don't know what happened there. They just passed by very close to Hosanna, and I thought that was going to be his chance to have something for tonight. It was quite a big family. I think there were about 4 warthogs. So I'm just going to go around here and right to the spot where I have last seen him heading to. So he just got disappeared somewhere here. And both the Hosanna and the warthogs, they got in here. Oh, the hyena is there as well. Now the hyena has arrived. The hyena can smell that something is going to happen here. I can see the hyena is now behind Hosanna at the moment. So these hyenas maybe can be able to smell the leopard. I can see that the leopard is not comfortable with the hyena following. You will see it there. You will see it now. You will see that the leopard is here and the hyena is here. And this hyena is keep following the leopard. You can see the leopard on the other side on the right. So this leopard is hunting, and the hyena presented himself. Now, if the leopard catches, there will be a drama here. So you can see that he's not happy with the presence of the hyena at the moment. So the hyena will also now spoil the chances of this cat to catch something. So the hyena is now moving away from Hosanna at the moment. So Hosanna is just now lying down there. Maybe this might be the end of him hunting, or he might still carry on hunting. So I'm just going to pull forward a little bit so that you can see him. Oh. So you can see that now it's nice and clear. He's just lying down there. But the hunting interest is still there. You can see the movement of the head and the ears. Concentration is telling us no, he has not yet given up. He still wants to carry on hunting. The weather is on his favor. Kelly, the hyenas, they don't have predators when they are old. When they are still new after birth, they are also left hidden by the dens unattended, which is very much dangerous when it comes to the predators such as the wild dogs. Wild dogs, when they come to the den, they can eat. But when the hyenas are old enough to defend themselves, they don't really have predators, but chances of them being killed by the other predators are very much high. Not long time ago, we have seen a big fight between the matriarch Koki and one of the avoca males just by the Juma den. And fortunately, Koki narrowly escaped as that lion was too big and he was biting Koki like you won't believe. So if you look at Hosanna at the moment, you can see that he's demoralized a little bit by the hyena which just came here earlier. Maybe now he wants the hyena to first go away and carry on hunting. So I'm not very far away from the hyena den. So shortly I'm going to go and make a turn by the hyena den just to see what is happening there. As I can see now that Hosanna is flat now. He's discouraged at the moment. So while there's still another vehicle here with me, I'm going to quickly just go make a turn by the hyena den, come back and carry on with Hosanna until we see what he is going to find. I just want to show you something different at the moment. So let's go and see what we can find by the hyena den. Many phonera lokoyo komala. I'm just talking to the other guys from the other vehicle in Shangan, asking them to radio me whenever there's any developments here. I didn't copy the question from MK well. MK, there is no reason for not liking the hyenas. Hyenas are very much beautiful and intelligent animals. If I was to recommend the animal to be rebranded, hyena was going to be the first one, because a lot of people, they do have quite a lot of mythical stories and superstitious stories about these lovely animals. So that hyena might be going to the den, as we are not far. So I am not alone driving at the moment. David as well, by the Masai Mara, is trying to look for something interesting for you.
Well, that's exactly what happens with most of the cats, and leopards are not exceptional. When they decide to go flat, that's it. Not much you can do. We've been following our elephants very slowly and quietly, and one has dragged behind when all the rest of the herd has moved on, and we want to find out whether there could be anything wrong with her or she is just a bit slow, because the rest moved in a particular direction, and I don't know how close this bungay will be for this particular alley here. Let me just see if we can get a better look for her. What about that? Is that too close or is it too far? Just see whether they can. Niconico, I'm always excited to hear your name. And when do elephants sleep? One, if this guy, okay, now he is moving with a bit of speed to catch up with the rest. If they eat, to me, like 18 hours in a day, Niconico, 18 hours in a day eating, all right, he has been able to join the rest of the herd. So they left about 6 hours in a 24 hours day, right? 6 hours they have to drink, they have to rest, and maybe they have to get a cat nap. Elephants, Niconico, in general sleep for a very short time, and they sleep standing. They could go when, in the middle of the heat of the day, look for one huge tree that has some very good shade, and they stay under that tree, and you'll notice them having some cat naps. Occasionally, you'll see the young ones laying down, but it's very funny how they lay down. They lay down with their bellies, not on their bellies per se, but on their side. And it's one of the most comfortable positions I have seen animals sleeping on. They look very uncomfortable when they lay down like that. That's the rest of the herd. Not very clear, but we may just have to move on and find out what could be ahead of us. So Niconico elephants will not sleep. They'll just keep eating and moving. And for that reason, Jasmine, Jumbo, and you know Jumbo what Jasmine means? Hello? The Swahili word for elephant. Elephant have two. So let me see whether they're going to give you the easy one. It has two, so Jasmine, I want you to choose which one you want. One is Tembo, T-E-M-B-O, and the other one is Ndovu, N-D-O-V-U. So Jasmine, you have a choice of those two, Tembo or Ndovu. But apparently, Jasmine, Tembo also means beer. Swahili is a very rich, I would say, language, and Swahili is just like Spanish. Some Spanish words, you might get one word that might have two different meanings completely. So Tembo is the name for the elephant, but also Tembo in Swahili means beer. So you have a choice of Tembo or Ndovu, but just remember, if you decide or you choose Tembo, remember, Tembo also means beer. All right. So trying to see who else could be out at this time. I should be getting my little spotlight, because what we do, we might use a spotlight like this. All right. If you like both, you can keep both Tembo and Ndovu. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So when we have our spotlight like this, we'll just use it to locate game, and once we locate it, we'll switch the light or the spotlight off and use infrared. I can just smell something would be happening anytime now, because here in the wilderness is always a very busy place. I would say it's always busy 24 hours. Yeah, those animals that should be out during the day, and once they're off from the stage, we have the rest that come in. Spotted hyena is a very good example. Many people have always thought hyenas are ugly, as Sidney was saying, but it's a misconception. Hyenas, to me, do a very good job. They take care of our environment, but also apart from, scavenging, hyenas also get their own food. They're very good hunters, and if asked, I would say hyenas are more successful than lions and leopards and cheetahs in terms of getting their own food. So this particular area we are in, we have a clan of hyenas that we call the North Clan. And should we see any one or two of them at the moment, that would be definitely be coming from that clan of the North Clan. Joyce will be trying to get to the workforce, and she got two small cubs. And what's happening, she's staying very close to with the cubs, in the den, and it's very difficult to see her coming out of the den at night now. And I'm looking at my watch and seeing how the time will go, and most likely I would want to end up there and see what she's doing. We were with her last night with her two cubs, and when we got the other 5 cubs all together, and she was just playing or keeping them company, the other cubs, and I think their mothers could have been away either hunting or looking for food. And hyenas being very territorial, or they could have been out just patrolling their territory, making sure that they don't get other hyenas coming to their territory. Most predators will be territorial, and what you have noticed, predators will overlap each other. We might get lions getting into a territory of hyenas, or leopards getting the territory of lions, but not two different families of lions will try to cross each other. And talking of hyenas, Sydney might have arrived at a den.
It's quite a very big competition between Sydney and David this afternoon, as David is also looking for his clan, and I am also waiting for the Juma clan to come out here. So the hyena that we saw earlier with Osana, it was Koki. I have met Koki now, not very far away from the den. She is on her way back. So coming back here, we might have the interesting interactions between Koki and the little ones. Because I've been here earlier during the day, and there were no hyenas here, which means little ones might be coming out for suckling. Koki is not having 3 cubs. She's having 1 amongst the 3 because the other 2 are for Pretty. So we might see Koki's little one coming out, and Pretty's as well coming out to hang around here. So I'm going to wait, because I know that when the mother comes here, the little ones are going to come out. At this stage, it's not looking active, but this is an active den. And this is something we must also expect. During the day, when the mothers or the nest is not here, it means the little ones must have to be hiding there in order to be safe against the predators. So I can hear some of the Francolins, they are starting to call. Maybe she is getting much closer at the moment. And other ones as well might be also heading back home. So this is not the only den we have got, but it's the active den at the moment. These hyenas, they lead us to different dens. When they feel here there's too much parasites such as fleas, they take the little ones to the next den. And then when they get there, if they feel that the smell is developing too much about the presence of the little ones, they move them again. They can be very much nomadic when having the small cubs. Sally, I didn't get the question right, but I heard that you're talking about the hyenas taking the kill or the food back. So the hyenas are not like dogs. Dogs, when they go out for hunting, they eat there and they come back to the nest and vomit to regurgitate food they have eaten to give to their little ones. Hyenas, unfortunately, they must have to go there, eat, and then they bring the food back home. But little ones are not going to eat immediately. It's for the adults to eat so that they can perform good lactation period, a period of milking these little ones. So little ones will eat when they are way older than maybe 3 months is when they will start to eat. So, so now let's go to David, who's got the crocodile at the moment. Yeah.
Well done, Sydney, for having gotten to the hyena den. Now we got ourselves a reptile, and this is the Nile crocodile. And again, remember, we are in infrared now. You might be wondering, what am I talking about? Talking of a crocodile, and you can see the shiny eye. And she may not be able to see us. We see her very well, as much as it's a bit dark. It is on the bank of the Mara River. And I'm assuming she is just enjoying the warmth of the substrate. And that's the famous Mara River. Pretty long river. We're talking about almost 300 kilometers long. Maybe 200 miles or so. And it originates somewhere in Kenya. And it comes through the Mara Triangle. It enters a national park called Serengeti in Tanzania. And then back to the Mara Triangle. And it drains in Lake Victoria. And Lake Victoria is the source of the Nile, and maybe this is why these crocodiles are called the Nile crocodiles, being some of the largest crocodiles that you'll see in the world. During the migration, we'll always see so many wildebeests and zebras crossing this river here, and these reptiles will always try and catch something for themselves. And being cold-blooded, she might want to stay there a little bit longer just to get a bit of warmth from that. Or did you just sleep? She just shut her eyes. Excuse me, not sure you can hear hippos in the background there. Yeah. Excuse me, I'm pretending to be a hippo. I think there was a mosquito trying to come in my mouth, but I got it out. And hippos go. And that's a very territorial call for hippos, and more so the males. And any time now they should be coming out of the water, going out to feed. And they're not more than 100 meters away from where this crocodile is. So I want slowly to move forward and see whether we can see those hippos. If Bungay, you allow me, we're going to move forward, and we would expect now these hippos to be out of the water to go feeding, and they might feed the whole night. Sometimes they walk 20, 30 miles away from the water, and of course that is determined on availability of food. If food is close, then they don't have to go that far. If food is far, then they have to do the same walk. Maybe let me get this route here. So yeah, they walk long, and we found out many people have been hurt or killed by hippos early in the evening, like now at dusk or dawn, because either hippos are leaving the water to go and feed, and early in the morning when they're coming back to the water back home, and that's when maybe the locals or the people in the village are going to fetch water either in lakes or in rivers. So from here I saw some bungay. Let me first see whether they can spot any. Sorry, my brakes are squeaking a little bit. Move forward a little bit. John, you're asking why was the crocodile not moving? In general, crocs, I would say, a little bit forward. Crocs, I would say, they are a bit lazy animals, and just next to it, if we go now to the hippo sea the best we can, Bungay, next to it is the water, and that's where if anything would go wrong to her, she will very quickly get in the water for safety. And on the edge of the water, it's warm, as I was saying, on the soil there, and she was definitely enjoying the warmth. So she has no reason to leave some nice warmth, and she knows if anything would go wrong, very quickly she'll jump in the water. Those look like water thickness to me. Earlier I was talking of the bats that you might see at night, owls or nightjars, water thickness. That's what I would guess they are in this kind of darkness. Just staying on the edge and with the water there. For the hippos, if you move to the right a little bit, Bungay, I can only see the eyes and not the actual hippos. If you go there, all those white like bulbs you're seeing there, those are the hippos in the water, the ones that we just had a few minutes ago. And definitely not looking very clear. They should be coming out of the water now and go and start feeding. And using infrared, it doesn't take you very far. Tears from a Dream, yes, is a kind of creepy to see what we're seeing in the darkness, and that's why at night we are always very careful, because you not know where the hippo is, you not know where the crocodile is, because a crocodile could be underwater and still opening its eyes and can see you out of the surface of the water. So we are always very, very careful. The croc that we saw earlier was not very far from these hippos. So at night, we of course always extra alert. We take care of what we do, watch where we go, and we listen very carefully. Now we'll just have to move on now, because the hippos are not leaving the waters yet, and find out who could be out of the water. Alrighty, do you go to South Africa, to Sydney, and find out what's happening at the den?
So now we are heading back to the cat we have left earlier, Hosanna, as by the den. Nothing was happening. The hyenas who came back there was a male. When I saw it earlier, I thought it was cocky from a distance, but now I saw that it was not cocky, and little ones are still underground. So we then decided to leave, as we were not going to wait for the mothers to come back, as we don't know where they are and how far are they from the den. So we're just going to carry on with Hosanna this side and see if he's going to be successful. It's getting very chilly now here where we are, and the wind is getting cold. So you can see that these bushes here, they are much more green and is very thick. This is the area which is consisted of the green guari bushes. David, unfortunately, this side where I am, it doesn't get snow. Yes, some of the parts in South Africa, like Free State, I have been there, and in 2010, I've been there in 2015, 16, snowing. So there are areas which get snow in South Africa. So let's hope Hosanna is still in here. So these are real wild animals, and they are so relaxed with us because these animals, they have learned that we are not a threat to them. So they are doing their own wild business, they are doing their own wild and natural behavior, and we are just viewing them, and we don't cause any harm to them. That is why they don't have to act aggressively towards us. But soon as we start to harm them is when they see us, they are going to react all the time. So this is the area where Osana might be hiding at the moment, looking for something. David is having a scrub here at the moment.
Well, I remember when I was in South Africa, anytime we were finishing the drive, there are two things we used to look for: scrub hares and chameleons. And now this has brought me some very sweet memories of Juma. And the last I remember seeing a scrub hare at night was in Juma, I guess. And that's a scrub hare with a very large ears and big eyes. In general, you only see them at night. Very unusual to see them during the day or just in the bushes, unless in the village when we scare them when we're just walking through the bushes. But in general, they come out at night when it's much cooler and when maybe they feel much safe. And what they do, they'll be digging some roots. If you look at carefully, I don't know if there are two there, but they tend to dig some roots and roots of grass or some tubers. Of course, these tubers and roots have lots of water in them, and that's also how they source their water. We have seen them many times. Once they drop their poo, they eat the same. Michelle, how are you? And I can promise you 100%, Michelle, I don't want to disappoint you. I will not show you a chameleon. So please send your request as usual, Michelle. I'm sure you know how to do it, #SafariLive. And then it will be sent to my brother, Sydney, and give him the pressure. So Michelle, I'm getting you a scrub here. Please ask my brother to get you a chameleon in South Africa. I don't know whether, Michelle, I'm making sense or not. Bugain, do you think I'm making sense to Michelle? Yes, Michelle, I want to tell you what Bungay, the camera operator with me today, have said. He has said yes. He has said yes, we'll give the challenge to Sydney. I've already gotten the scrub here. So Michelle, let's give a bit of pressure to Sydney and hopefully going to get one. Calcic, yes, same species of scrub hare, same size, same breeding period, same gestation period, same behavior. I would say they're very, very same, not much of a difference. And, you know, Calcic, most of our animals, I would say, they're very similar. They may vary a little bit in the coat or maybe in the sizes. For example, I'm looking at elephant Calcic, and I've always, the elephant in South Africa looks a little bit angular, and the elephants in East Africa are more rounded. The impalas, for example, here, they're a little bigger, I would say, and especially the horns than the ones in South Africa. But ideally, they are one and the same species, same genus. Hello, very unusual to see them in pairs. You only see them one, or when one has a litter, then you see them with their young ones. And when I look at the small animals that I don't think they're good mothers, this is one of them. The scrub hares do not do a very good job to raise their young ones. Looking at big animals that I think are a little bit of careless mothers are giraffes. So look at big animals that are careless mothers, I would say giraffes. Small little guys, I would say they're careless. And the scrub hares, Look at the size of that eye. It's so huge, eh? They need to see better at night. I'm sure she's gnawing some tubers that she just dug from the ground for herself. Some of the predators, of course, are any predator you think of, be it a cheetah, hyena. Rosaline, you just got those words out of my mouth, and I was talking of the predators that go for them. They look very easy to bring down. I would say wild dogs will bring them down. Jackals, like the silverbacked jackals, will hunt them. And also other reptiles like snakes, and I'm talking about the python. The pythons are slith, they move very slowly. And Rosalind, they use their heat receptors to pick any warmth of an animal. And when these guys just stop a place like that, a python will very slowly just come and grab it and just crush it into its mouth. Once they get spotted by the would-be predator, it's so funny, they'll always lie flat and they don't move, just like a stone. Even when the predator comes so close, they'll always try to imagine the predator cannot see them. I hope you're not listening to me. You should be feeding. Well, keep eating, and hopefully Sydney will not look for Hosanna anymore, but look for chameleons for Michelle.
David is playing a robbing game. It's very much difficult to find a chameleon at this stage because he found a scrapper. I will try to take that challenge. So now I'm here with Hosanna, and right at a distance of about 250 meters, I've got a herd of impala who are feeding, coming up much more this side. Hosanna is now acting his sit and wait predation. So at the back, we can hear the baboons are making some alarm calls, which might then push the impalas to come closer to where Hosanna is. You can see the impalas are there now. So we just got to be patient here and see what is going to happen. He is not moving at all. He's at the same position, and the wind is on his favor. Today, his hunting is determined by the wind direction. Those impalas won't see him. He's using this small bush there right in front of him on the right. He's using that small bush as a cover. That small green bush there. They won't see him. He's right behind that small bush. So I'm trying to check what's happening there by the impalas. So, but you can see by looking at him now, you might think he doesn't want to hunt anymore. He's tired. I can promise you he is going to act, because how he went to that spot where he is now, I could see he was crawling and he went and just lie down there. So he's using that bush as a cover. Let's see, slowly when these impalas are coming and coming, you will see how he's going to act. They're all feeding, facing this side. Let's hope the wind doesn't change direction and alert the impalas. Lisa, look at that. Look at that now. He's even now concentrating this side, that side. So he's very much patient. I also love this boy too much. Oh, here comes the hyena. That is what he's looking at this stage. So the chances of this hunt to be spoiled are high, or the chances of the impalas to run towards the cat while avoiding the hyena, they are also very much high. So at the moment, we cannot blame the hyena for coming. Where the hyena is coming from, there's impalas. But hyenas are so good because from there I can see the hyena is looking at the leopard. Another hyena is there now. Now we've got another hyena again coming to this side. Two hyenas. One is this side, another one is here, very close to the cat. The one who is behind the cat is the one who might now spoil the hunt. So now we're just going to cross to the infrared so that we can give you a better sighting. So you can see now, we can see him clearly by the infrared. So the infrared allows us in order to see these animals nicely at night during the dark without the animals seeing us, as we are not using the spotlight. Animals are in a complete darkness. So now this hyena in front here is crossing and the impalas are looking at that hyena. So chances of the hyenas, chances of Hosanna to go for these impalas. So I'm just assessing here what is going to happen once I picked up the possibility of a lovely special broadcast. I am going to invite that. So the hyenas are now moving away, and they don't get surprised from the lights. Another vehicle is coming to join us. Impalas are still very much relaxed on the other side. So far nothing is happening. What is interesting is the cat, who is now on a concealment. So it's good that the hyenas did not expose the leopards. So he's now making sure that the hyenas are gone. He's looking at them. They are going to the den side now. We were not lucky because they were still far. You can see it's only now that they are going back. I've got the names of the two hyenas who just got past here. There's one of my viewers suggesting that is Ntima and Koza. So those impalas are now changing direction. Instead of coming this side, they are now moving much more towards the eastern side. Can you see that? They are now moving to the eastern side. You can see them there. Yeah, they are moving towards the eastern side now. So it means the hyenas brought the negative impact because the leopards changed direction as the hyenas moved towards this direction. So they did not pass very far from Hosanna. Apologies for that. As I indicated earlier that we are not alone at the sighting. There is another vehicle. Niconico, hyenas and the leopards cannot hunt together because that will be a robbing game like what David is doing with the chameleon. Because here, when they're hunting together, the leopard is going to catch and the hyena will take away. So that is the challenge. So the hyenas are still there. They are not gone. They are still there. I can see they are looking at something high up. One of them is coming back again this side. So these hyenas are just hanging around here. They are not leaving. He's looking at them. So So they are right here in these bushes. So the chances of Hosanna to carry on hunting, they are very much slim at the moment. If he catch anything, 2 hyenas might give him a problem. So now let's cross over to the Masai Mara and get back to David to hear what is happening at the moment.
Well, I'm sure Sydney will get a chameleon somehow, and it could be exciting to see hyenas and leopards hunting together, which could be a small little movie-like thing to be noticed. There's a lady here in the Mara Triangle who does research on cheetahs, and we know cheetahs live or tend to be solitary, and if you see 2, it will be either a male and a female when they're mating, or maybe a mother and her cub, or a mother and her 2, 3, 4 cubs. But she told me something very interesting the other day, that for the first time we have seen a coalition. Males will be 3, 4, 5 together. That's normal. We have what you call the musketeers, is a combination of 5 male cheetahs here in the Mara. But the other day she told me we have now a first record of a coalition of females that have been together for quite some time, and I cannot wait to see them. I did not doubt her, but it sounded a bit not the norm to have 2 female cheetahs forming a coalition. So I mean, cheetahs, just like leopards, being on their own, being solitary. And she told me yes, and she has been following them for the last 6 months. Yes, and I mean, the final control says that's very strange. And again, I did not doubt her, but I thought that was rather strange to have 2 female cheetahs together. And she told me it could be like about now 3 months, she has been following them. And I'm like, where would they be going? And she hasn't seen them the last 1 month, she said, but she told me she stayed with them for 3 months, like every 2 days. Every 2 days, 2 girls, you know, that's a long time for females to be together. And it was not a mother and a daughter, they were just 2 very different hyenas. Cheetahs. So, yeah, that's rather strange. So, Sydney talking of leopards hunting together with hyenas could be something. We have seen them fighting over food. We have seen leopards fighting over food with hyenas, and Hosanna is Hosanna is a bit mobile now.
So you can see now that Hosanna is now lying down, relaxed there at the moment. Hyenas are giving him problems because he cannot carry on hunting. The impalas are living on the other side, and the weather is changing. The rain is building. We might get some rain here sometime tonight or tomorrow. Look at that. When we started, it was clear. Started building during the drive, and now it's promising. So you can see that now he's just moving the ears. He's worried about those hyenas. These hyenas are just here. And if they are not giving him chance, nothing is going to happen here. So I'll just try and reposition so that we can see him from the face. Giraffe Girl, thank you very, very much for all your support. We are hoping for more rain to come. So this is quite a very nice little opening. We were going to see a very nice hunt here if the cat was not, if Hosanna was not interfered by those hyenas. Normally, they can survive for about 15 to 17 years. So you can see that it's quite a lot of years. So, but that is a leopard in the wild. Look, you can only see the head. You can't see the body. See, the body is camouflaged. So you can see that he's listening to what is happening in the surrounding, and the wind is still on his favor. So he can be able to concentrate with the eyes closed. So when the eyes are closed does not mean he cannot feel or hear what's happening. So you can see that he is not going to carry on now. The weather is on his favor, but the hyenas, they are giving him problem. He doesn't want to go and hunt anymore. So what I'm going to do now is to leave him here, as I can see that there will be too many vehicles coming to join, and see if maybe we can find something interesting around the Galago pen. We might be lucky and find something else. Kathy, I have seen the bush babies a lot, and also here in Juma there is quite a lot of laser bush babies. So we might be lucky. I'm going to have my spotlight on now and see if we can find some other animals, because I can see that Hosanna is now very much relaxed, and with this little bit of time left we might be lucky and see something interesting. Yeah, that is quite a lot of pressure given by David. I'm going to try that. But the chameleons, I haven't seen any at the moment, so maybe I'll be lucky. Who knows? They are here. Oh, you can see this. You can see the hyena is just now lying down in front of the vehicle. You see right there. So this is showing you that these hyenas are here and they are prepared. They are prepared for whatever comes out for Hosanna for tonight to have a share. So they are here to have a share. So now let's quickly go back to David and see what David is looking for.
Well, Sydney, you're not off the hook. You need to get a chameleon, and I am sure Michelle is still watching, eh? And Michelle, don't go anywhere until Sydney gets your chameleon, because if he doesn't, then he will not have much to our deal. And our game was I do a scrub here, and he does. Sorry, are you okay there? Keep going. And he was to get a chameleon. What I'm trying to do now is to get so close to the waffles den. Almost, but I don't want to get it. I want him to do it. So Sydney, do it. I have seen one. I thought it'll not stop, because that will make your life easier, and I want your life to be difficult today. So please just get us one, and you'll make Michelle and everybody else happy. Sorry, Amy, I lost you there. We rarely see chameleons here, but sometimes, you know, with luck, yes, it would happen. This could be the time. To the left there. We may have to do something here, Em, for a few minutes. And it's like now, when I'm thinking, sitting to get the chameleon, I might be the one who will find it. But I might want to do something before we spot the chameleon. All right, we're going to redo our IR again, but in the meantime, let's go back to Sydney and give him more pressure for the chameleon.
I am still doing the search here now for something different, and here I am not winning at the moment. So I'm looking for the bush babies and bush babies, and also the request from David, the chameleon. So the chameleons can be difficult to see, but we can, because they do shine the eyes, and that is how we can see them. The leopard tortoise, they're out now. I have seen two already, and this morning I saw it was an old dead shell for one of the hinge tortoise. So, but during the winter season, they hide. They dig themselves a little bit in and hide and come out now. So now is the best time to see them. They are around now. Bush babies are hiding tonight. When I don't want them, after the game drive going home is when I see them. When I'm on a game drive, it's difficult. No ice is shining here by these bushes. So we will see the bush babies a lot anytime soon. Soon as the flying ant starts to come out, we will see them a lot. So they are very much territorial. So there's areas where if we find them today, very often we will find them at the same, more or less the same area. A child of the universe. I think we are having more or less the same kind of animals. So I'm trying to think about a different animal which is not occurring to the Mara that we are having here, and I'm finding it very much difficult. So I'm going to have to check with my other colleagues who has been to the Mara, who knows exactly what's occurring there. When I come back again here tomorrow, maybe I will be telling you which animals we have which are active at night, which are not occurring in Mara. So I can smell the elephants here in this area. So the elephants, you can easily smell them just from their body scent. So here I can smell there's a very strong scent coming from the northern side. So now let's cross over to David by the Masai Mara and see if he's winning with the nocturnal animals.
Well, Sydney, you can smell anything you want to smell, but I'll only be happy if you smell a chameleon. What animals could we see here that we not see in the Mara? I do not know, but we got a hyena because we have arrived at the Waffles den, and that is Waffles herself. And if you look carefully, she got a collar on her neck, and she is the commander-in-chief of the North clan of hyenas. That is her den. But if you look carefully, she doesn't seem to be fitting in the den, because the dens are meant to be small, just to take the cubs in and to protect them from would-be predators. See them coming in. The North clan has about 70 plus hyenas altogether, and all these are juniors. Lynn, the cubs, I'll tell you, Lee, you'd like to know how long they can survive without nourishment. I wouldn't say they would survive for a long time. In general, most cubs of carnivores are weaned very early, but the hyenas and most of the spotted hyenas will keep nursing their cubs for almost 1.5 years. And to me, that's a very long time to keep, nursing their cubs. So I would say if they're not nourished very well, chances for them for survival, I would say is 0. They will not survive. I'll tell you for a fact, they will not survive. The hyenas take a very long time nourishing their cubs. They will start eating meat very early. Even at the age of 3 months, you'll get hyena cubs eating meat. And all of them, when they're born with, erupted teeth. They got their canines, they got their incisors, in place as they're born. And as early, I would say in 12 weeks or so, they'll be able to start eating meat. But they nurse for a very long time. So if they will not have, say, for example, their mothers or aunties or anybody else to get them meat, and definitely they will not be able to hunt for themselves, I would maybe guess they'll have no chance of survival. These are spotted hyenas. We got 3 types of hyenas or species of hyenas in Africa. This got brown hyenas and the striped hyenas. Stronghead, you'd like to know whether the hyenas can recognize leaders of different clans, and I would say yes, because the leaders will always carry themselves in a particular way. But more often than not, they make sure they do not crisscross or overlap the boundaries. So for example, where we are sitting now, this is the territory of the North clan. And the female you see there in the den, that is Waffles, that's her name. And they'll always try and keep in their territory and not going in other territories. We have seen once in a while, for example, if a hyena here, because they always hunt for themselves, should one of them decide to go and hunt and chase a prey, call it a zebra, for example, and chase it, and the zebra enters in a different territory, which is not part of their territory, the predator or the chaser will stop at that point. It's like a dead stop, simply because she doesn't want to get into trouble by going in a different territory. But just to answer your question, yes, they'll tell because the leaders carry themselves in a particular way. Waffles here, because hyenas are very matriarchal. We just found out Waffles here did not come out through the lineage. There's something moving on the right there. Hopefully her cubs will come out at one point. Child of the universe, what would happen if 2 clans of hyenas fight over territory? That has been seen once in a while, but that would only happen if they meet at, say, a feeding site. and they're trying to, snatch or steal food from each other. That's the only time you get hyenas fighting. But the bigger clan in general will win. Not very far from where we are, there's another clan that's called the Happy Zebra clan, and they're not as many in numbers as this. And the one or two few times we have seen them having a conflict, the North clan always win. This morning we saw a pride of lions that we call Owino had made a kill, and we had the Happy Zebra clan very close to them, and they sat there for over an hour and they did not get anywhere close to them. If the lions or the Owino, pride of lions would go and hunt, as we turned right to find out what's moving so close to me. And, oh, very good. Thank you, Bungay. If they would hunt, I'll tell you the North clan are very aggressive and they'll always get the food from the lions. So, of course, if they would win, I would say the winner would be determined by the number in the clan. Not sure how many are in the Happy Zebra clan, but in the North clan we have known, because we've followed them for quite some time, there are over 70 of them. Yesterday the cubs came out of the den and they're very playful. Either it's a bit cold for them, or as you have seen, Waffles was just like staying on the door, on the entrance, making sure maybe they don't come out. It's just so quiet and pitch black. So two hyenas moving there. I don't know what they want to do, but all these are youngsters. And I'm just hoping these cubs will come out. But now, can we give Sydney last or one more pressure for the chameleon, please?
I am still here struggling to find the small nocturnal animals such as the bush babies and the chameleons. And I know a lot of you must be asking themselves questions such as, why are we not on SABC 3 tonight? This is due to the Mzansi Super League Cricket. We will be with you again on SABC 3, 6:30 p.m. as from the 23rd of December 2018. I'm trying to go and check around the Galago Pen area. Maybe we might be lucky here, but the wind is blowing too much. I can't hear. Even if there's a lion roar, this wind is blowing too much. So now that the wind is blowing my ears and I can't hear, let me rather take you back to David. Maybe he's quiet by the Masai Mara.
Sorry, Sydney, for too much wind, but I hope that is not an excuse to get a chameleon. But just look at how still the air is here. Those leaves or bushes near the den of Waffles, they're not even moving. But earlier the wind was very strong, but things have slowed down. Now all those hyenas that you see there, they're just showing submission to Waffles. Waffles is the one in that den. And earlier I was saying Waffles fought her way through up to the ladder, and I was saying hyenas is very matriarchal, and if you're born from a high-ranking female and you're born a female cub, you get the same status. But Waffles fought her way up there. She currently got two cubs, which I think she have instructed them to stay in there, not to come out, for reasons she knows better. And if one of them turns out to be a female, she'll be, of course, getting the same ranking or very high status, just like the mother. So hyenas are just like elephants, where they're led by females. We're trying to sleep on that one. This has been a very great afternoon, but we may apologize for having started rather late in the Mara Triangle. We had a bit of technical issues. And also we lost Steve Ovo at one point when he developed some technical issues with his camera. So things that will always happen once in a while. but I think me as Sydney have been able to pull through and ending the drive with the hyenas. I think it's pretty special having seen Hosanna. As much as I would say Sydney has let me down by not spotting a chameleon, me having done my bit, having seen a scrub hare, we want to say or thank everybody for having been with us. On behalf of Sydney, Steve Ovo, and myself and camera operators, we thank you all very much. Join us tomorrow morning and goodbye. Karibu sana, you have done a